What's going on? Today I want to do a quick review of the Harbor Freight Predator Super Quiet Inverter 2000 generator. Right now it's going for about, I think, $550 online. I got this about a week ago. I might have paid more than that, but what happened is I bought the smaller version, the 1600 watt, and it had a little issue, started leaking fuel. That was maybe like 3 weeks ago, so I returned it. And when I was returning, I saw this, a little bigger, a little more money. I think I had to pay an extra $100 and something, but I got this, which, you know, the other one, the runtime with a full tank was maybe like 7.5 hours. This one claims about 12 hours. So, you know, if you're gonna park somewhere and you wanna run an AC or whatever all night, 12 hours gives you a lot more time than 7. Now, the reason I say park somewhere and run it all night is because I use this in my school bus that I am currently converting into an RV. But obviously this can power anything. You know, it's got 2 AC outlets. You know, you go to bed at your house, power goes out. This thing will power fridge and AC and a couple other things at the same time. As an example, I run usually just an AC off of it in my my school bus. AC is 700 watts. You know, this thing, the peak is 2000. The actual running wattage is 1600. So 1600, you know, the 700 from the AC, it's not even half the capacity. So I could run 2 ACs. And the AC I have for it is an 8000 BTU. It's pretty strong. And this is just so much more convenient and easy to move around than the bigger ones, which I actually have over here. I'll show real quick. You know, power went out a year or so ago. I bought one of these. It's great, you know, 5,000 watts, tons of power. It wasn't actually too expensive, but it's very loud. It's very loud. So basically, yeah, this thing is great to power, you know, emergency items such as your fridge. So here is a view of the front panel. As you can see, it's got 2 AC outlets. It says 13.3 max. I'm assuming that's amps. I think it's actually 20 amps total. So I think they don't want you to run more than 13.3 amps from each one. But the manual will have all that. It's got a carbon monoxide shutoff. It's got a DC 12 volt outlet that you can plug in the jumper cables that it came with. They have the alligator clips, just clamps on a DC 12 volt battery. It has an ESC throttle. Basically what it does is it reduces the engine RPMs to conserve gas. It'll only rev up to the RPMs it needs to in order to power whatever's plugged in. If you're plugging a bunch of stuff into it, it's gonna, you know, be at the high idle. But if you're just plugging in a light or something like that, the engine's gonna rev down a lot to save some gas. So it's got 3 positions here. Start it. I'm assuming that must be some sort of a choke, and then boom, I'm assuming that's choke off. I would assume that this also controls the fuel, because there's no fuel switch anywhere. And yeah, it's very easy to start. What you have to do though when you first get it is you do need to add the initial oil to it. It does not come with oil. So I think the manual calls for maybe 1030, something like that. You can look it up. It might even be on the front cover when we take it off. So let's take it outside. Let's open the cover, show the oil fill, and then we'll start it up and see how it runs. All right, so when you first get it, the oil fill will be on this side, the opposite side of the pull start. Basically, we just need a screwdriver, which I forgot to mention. It comes with a toolkit. I lost mine already. Let's get this cover off just to kind of show what needs to be done when you first get it. It's 3 Phillips head screws. So when you first get it, this is where you will add the oil. The procedure is going to be in the manual, but basically here is the fill tube right here with the dipstick. So on a level surface, it should be to about the half of the cross-hatched area. Mine looks like it's overfill because I just moved this thing around, so it kind of splashed around. But just be careful when you're filling it. It will probably come out a little bit. Wipe it off, and just make sure that it's at least in the middle of the cross-hatched area, and you should be good. And then right there, I think, is the spark plug. It shouldn't be too hard to change. Let's see if we can pop this off with our hand. Spark plug is not super easy to get off, but it comes off. Just gotta wiggle it a little bit. I don't know, maybe you could get some pliers on there on the tip and gently get it off. But if you wiggle it enough, it'll come out. Spark plug right there. The toolkit comes with a spark plug wrench, so it should be able to easily fit in there. Take it out, clean it, whatever, replace it, boom. Looks like these girls wanted to come and be in the video. They're just looking for food. Let me see if I can put the cover back on one-handed. So putting it back on, I mean, pretty self-explanatory, but right about there, they're in. You gotta give it a little tap. Pops into place. Put the screws back in, and that's all set. Another cool feature on this one is it has an actual fuel gauge. You can kind of see that right there. Yeah, right now it's a little past half full, so that's cool. It's good to have. So when you first get this, there is a break-in period. You know, with all new engines you get. What I did for this basically is I just did one cycle of it turning on, getting to temperature, shutting it off, let it cool down. That for me seemed like it was good enough for this. You can look in the manual and it'll probably give you their recommended break-in procedure, but let's start it up and see how easy it is. All right, so to start this, like I said, this dial, what's up? This dial, start position. I mean, you've got fuel, obviously. The fuel, basically, this off is when you're not using the device. Keep that off. Boom, open it up, fill it, put this on, and turn this to the on position when you're gonna run it. So it's right there. Boom, let's pull it and see if it starts right up. So that's 1, 2 good pulls. Kind of hard holding a camera in one hand. So it started. Now I want to turn it to run, and it should throttle up a little bit. So I don't know how loud it is, but in person it's not that bad. I mean, further away you get, you can hear it less and less. Like, if we go over here, you can still hear it. Not too bad. We're about, I don't know, maybe a little less than 30 feet away. Not too bad. So it definitely won't bother anybody. It's not like the conventional home generators that are super loud. This is not bad. So here it is running. I don't know if you can hear me. It's not too bad. I think technically when you're running this, it's recommended that you ground this device right here for safety. I don't think anyone ever actually does, but I don't think it comes with a ground cable. What you could do, get an eyelid with a wire, put it on there, and then get a little rod, metal rod, bang that rod into the ground, maybe a foot, tie it to that. I mean, that would be the safest. If you're going to use this device, you know, with maybe, I don't know, a CPAP machine or something that is, you know, directly connected to you and you're a little paranoid, that might be a good option to do. Little muffler right there. It's recommended to keep this thing 5 feet away from any objects. It says it right there. But let's plug some stuff in and see how it performs. I want to show these cables real quick. These come with it. These are good. You just plug it in and attach these alligator clips to a car battery, a 12-volt battery, and it will start charging. I don't know if I would hook it up to a lithium-ion battery, but any regular car, lead acid, even an AGM, I'd probably feel comfortable using this. So yeah, plugs in right there, and then to the battery, and you are charging. All right, I want to plug a few things in, just kind of show you how it works. Battery, incandescent bulb, uses a good amount of power. No problem. Didn't even change the rev. Not that high of a draw for this machine. I've got this old palm sander that's pretty much junk, but these draw a good amount of power. See how it does with the light at the same time. See if it changes at all. So as you noticed, the machine revved up to compensate for the extra load. That's good. I don't know if that's a feature or if it just does that because it needs more juice. Just want to quickly show what I primarily use this generator for. I got a little home AC, $300, 8,000 BTU. It does draw a lot of power. Like I said, about 700 watts is what it says. Let's turn this off real quick. All right. I don't know if it's too dark in here. Definitely dirty from our last trip. But yeah, this is a 12-volt fridge. This thing is great. I wish I knew the name of this. But this is our little bus. Window AC. Saves our life right now, especially during this heat wave. TV. This is powered off the DC battery I have in here. 200 amp hour Renogy lithium ion battery. It's great. It's very powerful. It'll actually power the AC by itself for maybe 2.5, 3 hours. But realistically, that's a lot of draw for that little battery. So this is what I primarily use the generator for, is my bus. Keep in mind, this is the beginning stages. Still a lot needs to get done. Oh, lock myself out of my own house. Lock myself out. What's up, dude? Hey, you're on YouTube, dude.
I'm not.
You awake yet?
Yeah.
What's up, Zeus? What a rats. Let me unlock this and I'll lock myself out. So, my first impressions are it's cheap, obviously. This is the model that you would compare to Honda's flagship small quiet generator. I've never had one of those. My stepdad's got one, but similar size. This is, I think, less than half the price. I don't know what those go for now, but this is like I said, $550 now. It's a good deal for what it is if it lasts. So it is Harbor Freight. Keep that in mind. You know, so far so good. It does what I need it to do. It's not going to be something I use all the time. It's going to be when I'm at a campground and there's no hookup, or I'm just camping in the woods somewhere. I'm going to use this, obviously, to not draw tons of power out of my battery. But it's good for what it is. You know, 2,000 peak watts. You know, 1,600 watt running. You can plug a ton of stuff into it. Weight wise, it's not the lightest thing in the world. It's got the cool little handle on it though, so you can carry it around pretty easily. I mean, I don't know what it weighs. Obviously, the manual will say. You know, it's easy enough to move it around from place to place. You know, it's not like the big ones. But yeah, no, it's a good little generator. I didn't get the extended warranty for it because if it breaks, whatever, I lose money on it. If it were to break, out of the 90-day warranty that they provide, I'd probably just go ahead and buy the Honda and not be a cheapskate. But, you know, I do like Harbor Freight. They got a lot of good stuff, cheap. I have had some things break from there. Like I said, I originally bought a few weeks ago the smaller version, and it broke, started leaking out fuel. Not 100% sure as to why, but it still ran. It just, something might have popped off inside one of the fuel hoses, something like that. But yeah, this is a good generator. Go get it. If you're looking for something in this price range, you can go on Amazon, and they do have similar generators, a little cheaper. I don't know if I would trust some random Chinese or Korean brand or whatever. This is obviously probably made in China too, but at least with Harbor Freight, you can bring it back, you know, like I did with mine, right away. I mean, Amazon has returns too, obviously. I think it's a little more of a hassle, especially when you're returning something this big. But for what it is, so far so good. In a few months, after I've gotten some good use out of it, I will review it again. I will do an oil change, and then go from there. So hope you guys enjoy. Predator Super Quiet Inverter 2000 from Harbor Freight. Not a bad deal. Just noticed the cross in the back of the video. That wasn't like on purpose. I'm not super crazy religious. I just bought a house years ago. That was there in the basement. I didn't want to throw it away. I felt like that would be kind of weird. This was also there. I try not to look at it because I'm afraid the eyes are going to move one day and scare the living out of me. Last thing before I throw it away. This is the box. Let's see. Okay, so 49 pounds. I assume that's dry. Up to 12 hours runtime. I assume that's with a very light load. The watts, 58 decibels. Pretty quiet. ESC, pure sine wave technology. That's good for like laptops and things that need solid power. That's not going to drop or have high fluctuations in voltage. Tailgating, yes, good for tailgating, I guess. Same things right here. A little more technical details in the back, the carbon dioxide stuff, the generator to choose. Features 79 cc's. Okay, so not too bad, but as big as my daughter's dirt bike. And the specifications, if you were interested in that: 2.8 horsepower, 1.2 gallon capacity, 120 volts, obviously. Output current, 13 amps. Okay, so not 20, I guess. So 13 total, maybe. And it includes the DC cable with clips, wrench, screwdriver. Everything I said. So that's it. Now I can throw this box away. Actually, my son had some tips for me. What were you trying to point out?
Please like and subscribe. It would really help our channel. And tune in for more.
You get the iPad going.
Yeah.
And the Xbox. Nice. Nice.